Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules Matt Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back here and we discuss it. And today we're going to be discussing the end of Dimension W, episode 9 through 12, how it ended, our thoughts, and of course, we rate it on a scale and we tell you our rank and we put it up against all the other anime that we've already seen on this show, and then we pick a new anime. So, I'm not here alone. Going into and diving into Dimension W, the dimension that has infinite things, possibilities. And in this possibility, I have Matt Galley as my co-host. Matt, how are you doing today?
Today's a good day. Finished up, another anime, nice and brief, 3 episodes, boom, we're done, and we're on to another one. It's great. I
I
love it.
Yeah, I always have like mixed emotions, I guess, because like I'm excited to go on to another one, but then I'm always like, oh man, like I don't know. It's always just like a lot of different emotions whenever we get to the end because we've done it quite a few times already.
Uh-huh. But I will say that like normally we leave off with shows where there's more stuff, but this is it for this show.
Yeah,
So
at
it's
least
like
for
whether or
now.
not we wanted more, we can't have more, at least for
Yeah,
now.
for sure. Shout out to everybody that's watching here live on Twitch. You can watch on Thursdays, twitch.tv/JulesTheHuman, or later on my YouTube channel as well. If you miss it today, or if you come in a little bit late, I'll probably say this a couple times, but you can watch it on YouTube, watch on Spotify, and listen on Apple Podcasts, and give us like a 5 star and let everybody know that you enjoy it. I mean, people have been watching it. YouTube views are up. All these views are up. So thank y'all for checking us out. But we got to get going because a lot happened. We got to explain the whole all
A lot to
possibilities
talk
of the
about.
universe.
We gotta talk about like what we liked about it. We gotta rate it. We gotta pick a new anime. There's a lot
So,
on the plate today.
so we should start off recapping the episode because episode 9, the key to Andrastia,
hmm
continues where we left off last week. So episode 9, give us a little bit about what's going on in that.
So episode 9, to keep these more as like synopsis instead of full recaps. In episode 9 we see Mabuchi and Salva's like memories play out, each contextualizing how this new character Haruka Seameyer is involved in the larger plot at play, because this is a new character being introduced, being set up as kind of like the big bad evil guy of the series, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, we see we get introduced to the C Meyer character. Let me find a picture. There's C Meyer. You know what he looks like. Uh, uh, there's gonna be a theme, I guess, for these last 4 episodes for me. I wish they didn't wait so long. I know you had to do the whole arc to explain what Dimension W can do, the possibility stuff, but it ramps up like really. I like that. I like when an anime is like, okay, now the end of the world's happening. And I'm like, yes, cool. But like I feel like they could have spent a little bit more time, not so much analyzing like episode, what was it, like 4 and 5 or whatever, when we had the haunted house arc, whatever. You
Oh
could have
yeah,
spent a
yeah.
little less time on that and then spent more time here because like once we get to the last episode, it's like just going, and I'm like, you could have paced
Yeah.
it a little bit better. So
Or
pacing for
even
me,
or even with Haruka Seameyer, just planted a seed of his involvement to have him more directly involved a bit earlier. Because yeah, he is set up as like, oh, this person, like after we're seeing like Mabuchi and Salva's memories, it's like if it wasn't for this person, their lives would probably be like a lot better off.
yeah,
So this is a direct antagonist to both Salva and Mabuchi, as
and
they have
coming
become like
super
the two
late.
main protagonists, kind of.
Yeah, and getting here super late. Like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we have this other person.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, that's where he. Okay, sure. Um, so we keep going back, flashbacks and stuff like that. Do you still enjoy the flashbacks in this? Because
It's surprising how easy I was able to keep up with what was happening in the real world and what was happening in this like memory state, because that's essentially what's happening, is that they're diving into their own memories, so we're seeing them like experience their memories from their own perspectives, because we come to find out that blue orb the ball of energy is actually being controlled by Haruka Seameyer, and Haruka Seameyer is like getting that energy close to people, and then he's actually warping in this little device that's making them experience their memories.
Mhm.
Find that out in the next episode. So yeah, it's like the orb could have been something that was like, kind of foreshadowed a bit better, because it's something that just kind of gets dropped in there, I feel like, with Haruka Seameyer's involvement, and it just it felt it felt a little like convoluted, where it's like, oh, the big bad evil guy is doing that, but he's just wanting people to like experience their memories. And I
S
get that it's because it's part of his bigger plot, bigger plan.
so he can figure out where the thing is, whatever the
Yeah,
genesis is.
but still,
Um,
yeah, it just feels very like kind of bouncing a bit around the place with Haruka Seameyer's involvement.
Another development for sure is that we see Loser, who has become one of my favorites. I'm pretty sure yeah, I would say Loser becomes my favorite character by the end. Um we see like flashbacks of Loser and his name is Julian. I
Yeah,
was like freaking out, and
Julian Tyler.
the entire way through the last 4 episodes, if I took a drink every time they said Julian, I've never heard my name in an anime before, and this just filled it up. Like, they said it so many times, and I was like,
Julian Tyler.
yeah, they said it, these last 4 episodes, they said it so much, and I was like, "Oh my god." I was like, "Cool, this is cool," and then, like, I'm like, "Okay, I heard it. I heard my name." But that was pretty cool. That Loser is Julian. He's
Mhm.
a really good guy scientist, and we see, like, a little bit more of that.
Yeah, we see him try to go to Adrastea to manifest it to come back using all of his numbered coils, but he comes to the conclusion, using only 4 coils, he doesn't have enough power to do that. So he sets back out to try to find another coil. Um, and then, it's Jason Chrysler. Sees
Yeah, so
Julian
Jason
Tyler
Chrysler
and Jason Chrysler
are
face off against each
fighting.
other.
I got so hyped. Oh my god. I was like, "Yes, this is what I wanted. This is the fight that I needed to see." And then we didn't really see a whole lot of it, but it was good.
Mhm.
It was
And
good
then
enough.
also so while Mabuchi's going through that like memory world where he sees all the different memories of everybody, it's all memories, all of them. The
Oops, all
blue
memories.
Yeah, oops, all memories. The blue orb like manifests again in that weird realm, and tells Mabuchi that memories are the pretty much like the thread that connects Dimension W to the real physical world.
Yeah. So,
I don't know
okay,
what that means.
because it's possibility.
Yes,
Because essentially it's possibility and all of possibilities. So I was more thinking of this as a multiverse sort of thing, but I don't think it
okay,
is now.
yes.
I think it's more, I mean, that's a good jumping off point, but I think they're uh they're saying this is the one timeline and there's all these other branches. This
That
is
can
the
be
main timeline.
manifested using the power of the coils. But the main
Yes.
they and that makes them overlap and stuff, but there is still the main timeline. There you
Yeah,
can
I
never have another true main timeline. It's just there's infinite amount of possibilities as there is with anything.
yeah.
So the
And then the
coils
way
are able to
they
manifest those possibilities.
Sure, and then the way they use the stuff and turn it into energy, which we don't really know how that happens, but they were able to turn those
Science.
possibilities, science things, they like crunched them into energy, and then they like and now they can use it. So like we see Loser using it a whole lot, like to push stuff or to make a force field. All those possibilities are like crunched up, I suppose, and then just made into energy. We don't
So
really need to know how.
I
It's
guess you
just
could
more a
think of
device.
Dimension W as a thread, and all of the other possibilities as like towels hanging off the thread that are really wet, and then like you can wring out the towels for their
Sure.
energy until
And
there's
then
nothing
we're the
left.
floor.
Yes.
And then we get the energy. We get the water.
That's a really weird concept they're working with, and like I said, I'm surprised with how much it's able to just, like, kind of cohesively stay
I
manageable
definitely want
up
to talk
here.
about that at the end for sure. I want to talk about that, the bigger concepts here. But yeah, we get a lot of information. It's a lot of stuff. We're ramping up towards the end. It's again, it's like a huge incline of like, okay, here's here's the guy you're gonna face. We get some more backstory. And then we go into episode 10, Resurrected Nightmare, where we start off with Loser versus Jason Chrysler, which is really
Yeah,
good. But what happens
right
here
off
in,
the
in
bat.
episode 10?
Um, Episode 10, the purposes behind Adrastea's creation are revealed, and Mabuchi takes another step towards recovering his like his memory threads. It's kind of like the larger things going on at play here. It's revealed Adrastea was meant to be a something that was going to be teleported into space. Like their plan was to teleport the base, the facilities, everything into space. But after running preliminary testing on their teleportation technology, anything that is organic just turns into like a goop on the other end. So inorganic matter cannot pass through their teleporter, which throws a wrench into like the whole project. Um, yeah.
Yeah, we get a lot of information. We get some stuff with the main story as well, with Lawai getting damaged in a fight that people are fighting, all this stuff. Loser defeats Jason Chrysler, all that stuff. If you watch the show, you know what's going on. But I mean, it was really interesting to see them to be able to turn possibility into energy, but still not understand space time, or like try and I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like, because we have stuff in space, I guess, but like for them to like not be able to bridge that gap was kind of odd. I don't know, for me, but I was like, okay, this is the world we're living in.
Mhm.
We find out that there's an ultimate coil. There's a coil that above all other coils that can. I don't know if we say this on this
I
one.
quoted it.
Yeah, go for it.
The coil that surpasses all the numbers.
Yeah, the coil expresses all the numbers. The one that can make things from nothing.
Yeah, Jason
Genesis
Chrysler
can create something from
reveals that
nothing.
like he knows that that's what loser is after.
So yeah,
How does Chrysler know that? I don't think it ever really gets into that.
as they're I only have like a couple things here, because a lot of it was fighting, a
Yeah,
lot of it was some other stuff here.
moving
Um,
fast.
but they're hunting the main group. What's the guy with the glasses, the little glasses that's
KK?
hunting? KK.
Yes.
Uh, he calls out a song, which was really interesting, when he was trying to kill them, and he brought back Doug to fight Mabuchi, which is his
Mhm.
old friend, and all. They talk about souls and all that stuff. But he brought back a song, Camille Saint-Saëns, uh Dance Macabre, Dance Macabre, when he's like about to start his attack, he calls out for some reason. I don't know why, I couldn't figure it out. But he's a real composer. Sanson is a real composer that has a song called Dance Macabre. It's a French tone poem inspired by Liszt. I don't know why. I was just like, I know stuff about this. it,
That's interesting.
it's just a it's just a spooky tone song, but he calls it out whenever they start fighting. So I thought that was interesting. That um, I don't know. I guess we could look into it, but it was just really weird. I don't know
No,
if you
yeah,
knew
I
about
didn't
that.
even catch that. That's KK does that? KK calls
Hmm.
that out? Huh.
Yeah, whenever they're all stuck in the thing, and then he calls out a song, and then music starts playing, and then they start the battle.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Also with the whole deal with so yeah, KK explains that like he found bodies in the void, and he explains that like the even though the bodies are still alive, the soul has left. And so there's no way they can return.
Be-
Um
because all their possibilities are gone. So
yes.
once all possibilities are gone, the soul is gone too. What does that mean?
I don't know if that's the void can take away possibilities or
Yeah.
what's going on with that, but, it made me think when he was fighting Doug that, like, we've kind of seen a reversal here because he's Mabuchi's sitting there, in this fight, like, "I don't wanna kill Doug," like, "Doug, come on, like, come
Yeah.
back," and KK's like, "I don't know what you're doing," like,
Oh, I didn't even
you're just kind of talking to a shell. And yeah, so we've gone from him interacting with Mira, where it's been like, a
Oh,
shell, but
man.
more of a person in there. And now he's come full circle to having to be confronted with a shell of somebody you used to know, where the person is now gone, but he can't
Well,
accept that while he's
yeah,
fighting
that
him.
that goes towards I didn't even think about that. Thank you for bringing that up. I was not even understanding that connection and that you know juxtaposition there because yeah, it really goes towards in building Mabuchi's character because he literally until the end calls Mira a hunk of junk, a piece of junk, and he doesn't care about her. Oh, you can be like reborn or whatever. You're just a robot. But she seems more human than anything else. She's crying, she's doing all this other stuff. But then when he sees this zombie shell of his best friend that does not display human anything, that's not a soul or that has no soul, that's literally might as well be a flesh robot.
Hmm.
He tries to find the humanity in that, and that shows like, oh man, you don't get it, do you? Like you just still don't get it, man. Like that sucks.
Yeah.
Like you don't understand what's happening right in front of you that this person is Mira is more and that Doug, your best friend is no more and is gone. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even think to
Hmm.
put those together.
I mean, that was kind of just it was I was thinking about that while he was fighting him because, like, if he called out to him once and then he was like, "He's just a husk, he's gone," and then Mabuchi's like, "All right, I need to recounter, like, rethink," but like KK says that and it doesn't phase him at all. He's like,
Yeah.
"No, like, I'm gonna save Doug. That's Doug. I'm saving Doug. That's what I'm gonna do right
But
now."
then at the end, when he does defeat him, and then his soul is leaving, and he says his
The
name,
body
right?
is dying,
The body is dying because the last of what he saw is imprinted in the body.
and he asks about the general or something, and so
Yeah,
that
and it's
was the
like,
echoes of
ugh.
his past
But
self.
was KK lying?
I mean,
Because
we're Dimension W right now.
yeah, because I'm like, wait a minute, was he human all along? Like, what was it? And they don't
Mhm.
explain it, and it's just like we're left as the character. We're left as
'Cause
like, fuck, like,
that Doug still had his husk or still had the echo or whatever ring through him as he had, like, his body was dying,
yeah.
but KK, Mabuchi says something along the lines of, like, "Oh my god, I killed Doug," and he's like, "Don't worry, like, he was dead a long time ago." And it just yeah, it's just I like how even with this, the show is still, like, throwing out the questions of, like, human what it means to be human, the concept of humanity and stuff like that.
Are you okay with them not giving us answers?
Yes, I think with stuff like this, there are certain questions that are more valuable just to be posed rather than to be answered
Okay,
because I think it comes down to one's own, like, perceptions on certain things and what you can take away from it.
sure.
And it doesn't feel so, like, on the nose with, like, the show just trying to be like, "Hey, this is good, this is bad," like, trying to just, like, draw straight lines
None of
across.
this was on the nose at all. This was
Exactly.
all in Dimension W. This is all going crazy.
It definitely depends with what themes you're playing with, but I think
Sure,
with the questions at play right now, that the questions themselves are more valuable than answers.
for sure. Episode 11, The Lost Genesis. So by the end of episode 10, uh, they stop or oh, wait. One thing I was gonna say about episode 10, I love the animation here. When Mabuchi goes rage,
Oh, yeah,
he
his
turned
teeth,
rage because of
Luai,
Luai getting killed.
which I forgot to mention too. That
Yeah.
was probably how did you feel about the end of the episode where it's just like, "Oh, Mabuchi, haha, I have a bunch of other bodies. There's more than one of me."
I was really sad, but I knew well, okay, before that, I was really sad that Lawai was the one that got killed. Um, because well, I knew somebody was gonna have to die. And I was like, well, okay, out of everybody, I guess I can lose Lawai. I was like, I'm fine with that because I didn't want Albert to die. I didn't want loser. Well, okay, whatever. But like at that point, I was like, okay, I'm cool with that. But it kind of sucks. It's really sad they killed a kid. And but he was a robot. Was he what was he? Anyways. Um and then he comes out of nowhere and it's like, hi, I'm still alive. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, hmm. But I did like the animation when Mabuchi went crazy. Like that whole sequence was so cool. Like him just going and us seeing like his full extent of like how fast he can be and all that stuff. I was like, that's dope. But I don't know. How did you feel about yeah.
Wise thing, yeah. I it was weird ground for me because we had already seen in the past that there's an accident involving Luai where like most of his body got like crushed. Um so like it kind of can add up, but to me like it was just at the moment they decided to do that, it just felt like one of it wasn't quite a Deus Ex Machina, but it really I almost just pointed at the screen and yelled contrived like, "Oh my god,"
Yeah.
right after we see him die. Yeah. Mabuchi has like a meltdown over it and almost also kills KK, and it's not until Mira gets involved that she says, "Hey, don't kill KK because it's not, you shouldn't kill people. Killing is bad and stuff," bringing back into the main themes at play here with
Yeah.
her stopping Mabuchi.
Yeah. Um
Yeah,
whatever. And they explain it into the in the next episode what
they
actually
do.
goes down. So let's get into episode 11, The Lost Genesis.
In this episode, we see Loser defeats Jason Chrysler taking his coil. So Loser gets his fifth coil. Mabuchi is able to recall how he took Genesis in the raid on Easter Island, but he cannot remember where he put it. And as tensions boil, Haruka Seameyer spawns a eldritch abomination through a portal, um, who is supposed to be an amalgamation of Sophia, Loser's wife.
Whew.
Yes, episode 11.
So yeah, it was an interesting thing that Luai was back home and it was inside. Like it only pushed the idea that Salva's a good person. And I
Mhm.
think that was the reason behind it, that no, like Salva really just wants this Genesis. Like we get a lot of conviction from a lot of people and I'm cool with that. Like that's one of the good things about the show is that we see everybody's cards and we see everybody's ability to go forward, like what they need to do and why they're doing we get a lot of the
Yes.
why. And in this, for sure, we get a lot of the why Salva is doing this, because the why is in a contraption that he built connected to Dimension W, and his consciousness is beamed to these robots or whatever,
Mhm.
and
That
Salva
little
wants to
bit
save
where
him.
we see Luai hooked up to the machine, I just wish that we had just like don't tell us then that he has multiple bodies, but put it before the reveal of him having multiple bodies and just have the audience maybe make a connection that he just has one body. And then when the reveal comes that he has multiple bodies, oh, because his of course, like they've already showed us that, but that bit comes after, and that's where I'm like,
Yeah, it's like, what?
but
Like, it kinda
whatever, whatever.
roll your eyes sorta thing. It's like, okay, I guess, like, this just
Yes.
saved the main one of the main characters,
Yeah,
so nobody dies, I guess.
exactly.
Um, so yeah, they're connected to Dimension W somehow, and that's pretty cool. I like that whole thing. They gave information that Genesis can create something from nothing. Um, so they give this whole thing about, as C. Myers going crazy and stuff like
Mhm.
that about and going through the memories because we're trying to figure out where Genesis actually is. About Schrodinger's cat, and they kind of explain that. I don't know if you've Do you know what that is? Or
Hmm.
if anybody doesn't know what it is, Schrodinger's cat is a thought experiment that states if you seal a cat in a box with something that can kill it, you won't know if the box is alive or dead, or you won't know if the cat is alive or dead until the box is opened.
Hmm.
Which was really interesting because uh, they do that whole thing with Genesis up until the last episode. We're going to talk about episode 12, but we don't even know if Genesis is still there. Like, so this is a perfect explanation of it. Like, we just assume Genesis is there or it's not, but it's somewhere, maybe. So this is like what it is. Like, Genesis has the power to create something from nothing, and we're looking for it. And then we find out that it was destroyed. So
Yeah.
this was perfectly Schrodinger's cat. Like we thought we didn't know. And it was
So
great.
in a previous episode where we saw that where we saw Loser say that Mabuchi was the key revolving around something with Haruka Seameyer, and it showed the bit where he dove off the thing with Genesis, and then in a short moment later he teleported outside, but it was nowhere. I thought like Genesis had become Mabuchi
Yeah.
and vice versa. I thought like they
Or
had
something.
like found a way to like, or
Fuse
something
it into
happened
him.
there. Yeah, where like he himself is Genesis now, and I thought it was going that direction with it, but I'm glad that was not the direction that things were going. But that's
uh,
what I thought was going to happen.
Sure. One important bit about Schrodinger's cat, as Smudge says, so the cat exists at the same time in two different realities, dead and alive. And you don't know which timeline and reality is true until you open the box. Yes, it's all about possibility. The thought experiment is all about possibility. It's like, well, there's two possibilities here, and that's why it's perfect to reference it here in the show because it is all about possibility. That there is more multiple possibilities where Genesis is here or Genesis is destroyed, or is in Mabuchi, or Genesis is in his lover that we meet again later on. But it's crazy. Like this is really cool. I really like this. Don't know what the fuck's going on. There's so much that I don't understand that's happening, and I'm just like, yeah, that sounds right. I'm like, that sounds okay. I'm like, he made Julian's wife into this thing. And I'm like,
Because after witnessing what he was doing with the transponder, she broke it, and
yeah.
that was his way
And he
of
punished her by
punishing her. Yes. And that whole
okay.
thing itself is inorganic because it was able to pass through the portal. The only organic parts of it are her,
But
which
it's
are her
in
hands, and her heart, which he keeps on his side. Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure. So like a lot of it is pushing the edge for me where I'm just like, yeah, that sounds right. All of
We're
this,
getting
all the
into
jargon.
like you talked about with these 12 episode animes, because in the next episode there's a line that treads the line where we're getting into like world ending territory possibilities. And so with some of the liberties the show will take, I'm just like, sure, we're the stakes are the world's gonna end, please, I'm just here for it to play out.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. That's
Sure,
fine.
like, I
Next
say
thing.
I'm confused. I think I even commented on the Crunchyroll
Oh
episode on
no.
episode 11. I was like, "I'm so confused, I love it." I'm just like, I'm along for the ride, man. Like, this it makes just enough sense, but there's just enough of it to where I'm just like,
And
"Okay."
that's where I say that like it's like with the last set of episodes, it's not till after I go back to like grab screen grabs and like kind of like think about things a little bit more and take my notes that things finally start to connect to me. And that's where it shows that like it is a little bit past where, you need to just have things to be yeah,
So,
the connective tissue is there, but it's just not it's super strong at times.
yes. So, we are gonna grade this anime a little bit later. But as I was thinking about like what to grade it on, in relationship to episode 11 and 12, like I was thinking, I was like, could I recommend this anime to somebody, or would I recommend this anime to somebody? I want to know your answer, but I was like, I don't know if I could. Like, I'm enjoying this confusion that I am in, but I feel like it's a very niche thing. Maybe one other person I can think of that I would recommend this anime to. But even though it's a good anime and I'm gonna rate it really well, I don't know if I can recommend it. And that's kind of odd because yes, you want to tell people to go watch a good anime. I'm like, this is good. I'm having a good time. But for me, there's only a certain subset of people where I'm just like, I think you'll enjoy this and you'll go along for that ride. Because for the most part, probably some people will check out at episode 7. At episode 8, they won't even finish it. You
Even
know what I
episode
mean?
like
So
episode 4 or 5, like
yeah.
where it takes the first like start to hint at like a genre swap, even like just mildly. Some people might be like, "Oh, this is not what I want to watch," and just like turn
So
it off there.
even though I think you're gonna say this is a good anime for sure, but even though it's a good anime, could you recommend this to somebody to watch? Like if somebody asks like, "Give me 5 anime recommendations,"
Oh yeah, yeah.
without
If
having to explain, like, "Go watch Dimension W." But there's this thing about this time thing, there's this thing about, Schrodinger's cat and the possibilities. I don't feel like you can just
no,
say,
yeah.
"Go watch this show."
In the elevator in passing with somebody else, I
Yeah.
would not recommend this show. If I'm
Yeah.
sitting down having a full conversation with somebody talking about the different anime that they like, this would be an anime that would come up in my recommendations to people, but it would only be after I'm sure that like this is the type of stuff that they're into. Because like you said, it is niche. It isn't something that like a lot of people might be able to get behind. I feel like this show's narrative is on the same level as like a Psychopaths, with a lot of the different moving parts and stuff like that, and how it's kind of more oriented for like I feel like an adult audience with its themes and stuff. But the themes that play with this show I feel like are a lot more like abstract, whereas Psychopaths, the themes are a lot more along the lines of crime and punishment
Tangible.
and
Yeah.
tangible. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I think this is the first time, at least for me, in the anime that we're watching, where there's an anime that's like, okay, I can recommend this one because I really loved it, and anybody could go check this out. Or I didn't really like this, I wouldn't recommend this to somebody. But
Yeah,
this is
this
the
is
first
not a
time.
full recommend or a full
This
non-recommend.
is the
Yeah.
yeah, this is the first time where I'm like, I really enjoyed it and I'm enjoying my time here, but I don't know if I can tell you to go watch it. So I thought that's why I would bring it up, because I thought this is the first time for me, at least, that's happened where the two are disjointed here. Let's get
Good
into
point.
episode 12, the
Yeah.
end, how it ends. It wraps up really quickly. Well, not really quickly, it just throws it all out there and it
Yeah.
just keeps going even past the credits. So what happens in episode 12?
In episode 12, we see Mabuchi confront the reality of his past. And we discover the final fate of Genesis, as well as the final fate and outcome of Haruka Seemeyer's schemes, and what that will boil down to, and what that boils down to, which
Yeah.
is getting pieced out by Mabuchi.
Yeah, in a
Um,
in epic way.
yes, in an
Which
epic
uh,
fashion. Um, Mira sees a vision of her father and is given a brand new coil and left with the words, "Learn about people's hearts before he leaves her yet again." And again, it's like so this yeah, and then sorry, Mabuchi
No,
Mabuchi
go.
wraps up the show by
Sure,
saying that he will continue to work as a collector, trying to reach the end of all possibility.
sure. What were we gonna say?
Really quick, with that screenshot of Mira, it brings back to the first episode where I said Dr. Yurizaki is not dead because the green thing was not like they said he was sucked into a vortex and he's gone or whatever, but he's somewhere green. She's somewhere green, and he like maybe in the physical realm or whatever he's dead, but I think he's existing off in some in that coil to end all coils or whatever. I think he's in some alternate possibility stored within that coil or something. There's something going on with that. His But this show definitely leaves us with more questions than answers, so we'll probably never know.
Sure. In the real world, in any possibility, in the digi world with the digi destin, who knows? But yeah, that was one question too. Like, is he there? She sees him, but he's not there. He gives her a new coil. She tangibly has a new coil now, and it's like, we'll figure it out, I guess. So I don't know. Um, so yeah, we find out the Genesis was both here and not here because we didn't know he destroyed it. Nobody knew because his memories were locked away, and he gets to see Miyabi, and they make the decision together. I'm glad it was you. Did you feel this emotion, or
Yeah.
were you just over it?
No, yeah. This hit.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I knew it wasn't over with her, but the way it did it, where she was because they kept alluding to her leaving, it being the same time as him going over there, and
Exactly.
almost the things connecting somehow. So of course you knew it was gonna there was some connection there, but that she was going at the same time and she saw, and he could have saved her. He could have saved her with Genesis, but she
But
said
like
it's
she said no
yeah,
for
she said no.
reasons. For
It's
reasons.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because the world is dying.
Yeah. And then she talks about how oh, oh, because yes, she says no. There's this whole other emotional thing
Exactly.
where she says no and she loves old things because they put that in there as well in this episode. She loves
Mhm.
old things because it represents that time moves on and that you were a thing and that you
Mhm.
were a part of it. And without you, you influence everybody going forward. Like your existence or this existence of a thing influences everything going forward, and people are changed because of it. And they put that in there because that's what she was. She was the change that happened, that needed to happen for all of this else to happen. So she needed to pass for Mabuchi to be this way, to go in here, to have Mira, sorry, I
Mira.
keep forgetting her name. Mira exists now because
Because
of her.
because of her, because Mira is only able to be there because
She wasn't able
Miyabi is
to,
not there.
yeah. So she created another life by ending hers or
In a way,
deciding,
it's almost like Mira is like their kid in a way. Like
sure.
in a way that things are connecting. Like,
And yeah, I
yeah.
love that. I love that whole thing that they brought it back to that was Miyabi's thoughts. And again, it does a good job of showcasing everybody's uh reasoning, everybody's why they do stuff. And this show does a really good job of it. And it gives you a lot to think about, which is really dope. It was pretty badass. This
Yeah.
whole scene. Uh
Elizabeth flying up to Mabuchi and being like, "Here you go. Here's a spin dart. It has
I was like,
losers' feelings in it."
yes. It's like he gets the final spin dart. He's like, this is the last one I'm ever gonna use.
Yeah.
Boom, whatever. And
I
then
Go ahead.
no, I was gonna
I
segue.
really liked the bit where right at the start of the episode how Loser kind of almost defeated Haruka Meyer by like creating his own gate and then like
Yeah.
trying to pull him through the gate by telling him, you know, you're going to experience the same thing you made all those other scientists go through.
Yeah.
Um and it catches him off guard because Loser's body is like 90% inorganic at this
Mhm.
point, and he wasn't
He was
he
like,
was
"Oh my
not
god, your
prepared for that.
hand."
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
he's like,
like,
"Yep."
"Oh no."
Yeah. Rip Loser. He was one of my favorites for sure
Yeah.
now by the end. And then we get this whole just we get a new coil and then they're off on more adventures. So I kind of like the idea that this just happened, and this is we're peeking into a story that has happened before us and is happening after us. So I kind of like this idea. Is like, well, we still got to be collecting. We still got to keep going, and
I mean,
Mabuchi is
they didn't
still
find out where the illegal coils are coming from.
no.
That,
It
like
that
like
this was a whole side quest that just turned into the main story, which is intense. This
and
is so much going on.
on the illegal coils, I like that connected with Mira, where as they're descending into Adrastea, Mabuchi comments to Mira how he's like, "Well, don't you think it's kind of funny how he used the words like follow the illegal coils specifically because
Instead of
they
find
find
or
out
something.
Genesis gets completely the term Genesis gets wiped out from anything that's related that's using an official coil." So
Yeah.
it's like he knew that saying Genesis would get wiped, but follow the illegal coils and you'll find Genesis anyways.
Yeah. Which is dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and
I
then
like how
now
that
he
was all set
says,
up.
and then now
He
her
says
dad
follow your
says,
heart
or
or
yeah,
learn about
learn
people's
about people's
hearts.
hearts.
So that is like, so what's he saying with that?
Yeah, and that's the next sort of arc where she's I what is what's inside her? What's this inside of her? Is it a heart?
Is that
Like
the coil
is
to
it
end all coils?
yeah, is that Genesis? Is that Genesis 2.0 or
2.0?
whatever?
Yeah.
We don't know.
1.5.
They just left us on a lot of questions. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with
Yeah,
the show continuing and then my imagination picturing something that happens later on. And
exactly.
because they built up the characters so well and the story is or like the world is really great. But so much so with with the characters. Like I love the characters more than I love the story that they told
Mhm.
because these characters had life and right now I can imagine what these characters are doing later like in a week from the story a week from now in the story I can picture some adventure they're going on and then these characters interacting and all stuff because they built it up so well with these character connections.
Mhm.
um so let's shift into talking the ending of the show. We're talking about Dimension W. If you're getting here a little bit late on live on Twitch, but we are finishing our discussion on Dimension W as a whole for the 12 episodes, and then we're gonna pick a new anime to watch. So that's coming up still, and we got to rank this one too. But like, uh, as a show, these concepts, were they ever really out of reach? Did you find yourself at all just not having a good time, or if so, which parts didn't you enjoy as much
No, yeah,
for this?
the parts that I didn't like, I feel like I've talked about, and like you were saying with this, the last 4 episode beat here, it did kind of feel a bit rushed with Haruka Seameyer, how they were handled, but ultimately, we get to see them doing something completely awful and wicked, and that makes me root for all the good guys that are able to get the upper hand on him, and that's really what I want in a conclusion myself. But like I said, there could have been more development seeds planted earlier in the show with that.
Hmm.
But the show did move at a rapid pace from where we started at episode 1 to where we are now at episode 12. Wild ride for
I
sure.
Yeah, I love it. I like that stuff, but I wish it wasn't so squished at the end
Hmm.
because like they were I'm pretty sure they were trying to fit everything even during the credits. Like it
Yep.
felt like sorry, here's the
Yep.
credits, but we're gonna still gonna roll stuff here.
Hmm.
Here's some more information still. We still gotta tell the story, but the credits are rolling. It did feel kind of like squished at the end. But who was your favorite character at the end
Uh,
for the
over the
entire show?
whole show, like Mira just kind of stole the every scene she was in for me. Like,
Mhm.
especially by the end when like she just was the one kind of keeping like Mabuchi from going off the deep end, honestly. Like that was really cool how she was able to like interface
A
with his memories to able to like reconnect them for him.
a lot of people were mad at that. A lot of people were mad about, um, in the Crunchyroll comments because I read those because 'cause I'm like,
Wait.
what are people saying about this?" A lot of people were mad about her stopping him from killing, and it's like, "Wait, what? Killing's bad?"
Oh, killing KK?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that can go one way or the other. I understand that, it's not really so much like her character's actions as much as what the show wants to say, I think. Um, but, I'm more so in the last episode with him just being like, "Nah, like, why would I even fight anymore? I abandoned my friends. I abandoned," like, he was dejected by the time the monster spawned, and it
Yeah.
wasn't until she was able to, like, reconnect his memories that he was like, "Alright, like, let's do this. Get me out of here." And then
Mhm.
she wasn't there, and he had to punch himself again to wake himself up.
Yeah, they didn't show like, you understand what's going on. They don't show everything, but he said he's like, "Ah, I did this again in a dream." It
Yeah.
was good. It was a good little moment. So Mira is your favorite character. I'm gonna say Loser.
Yeah.
I love Loser's arc right now. I didn't enjoy him when he was just a bad thief, or so we thought, collecting coils. Like we didn't really know a whole lot of information. The more information we saw, it was great. I loved
Mhm.
his whole story arc. I love what's going on. And I think he was my favorite. And I was just really sad that he died. I was like, oh man, that sucks. I was like, damn, he really sacrificed everything. And he hopefully, you know, met Sophia again somehow.
Exactly. Infinite
So
possibilities.
yeah, so that was a great little ending, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good end of his story." I was like, "Dang, that's cool," because we saw so much flashback, so much
Mhm.
going on in the back. So,
We get a
uh,
lot about him.
yeah, and his
Honorable
name's
mention
Julian.
to
So,
yeah, true. Honorable mention to Scorpion Cat Cassidy just
oh
for
man,
being
we had some
herself.
fun characters. Yeah, we had some fun characters. Jason Chrysler, shout out. Um, there's so many interesting characters. So that was really cool. I like how many different people there were in this. Like I don't know. They seem all fun. Like you can pick a whole cast of people to cosplay
True.
from this show alone. Like I
Yep.
love how like intriguing everybody looked and felt, and all the characters were super unique. Um, do you have like a favorite moment or a favorite scene
Shoot.
or something? But yeah, I got mine. I was just gonna say the when he again goes crazy when Mabuchi goes insane when he sees Lou. It's the animation for me completely changed, and I was like, "Oh, this is different." And it just got more sharp and edgy, and he had color, and it was blast. I was like, "Oh, that's so dope!" And he was faster than KK. I really like that moment. I think it was episode 10 or 11. But out of
Um,
the whole anime, if you have anything,
no, mine
one
would
of your
probably
favorite
be in these
moments.
last 4 episodes too. I think it's episode 10 or 11. After Mira saves Mabuchi from the robot while he's still asleep, and she pulls the coil out, she gets thrown forward, and she's like, "Oh, I can't stop my momentum." And she sees the void up ahead, and she's like, "Oh well, I saved
Yeah.
Mabuchi. I did my job as a robot." And she goes into the void, and then he wakes up and like pulls her out, last second style, and he like gives her a pat on the head, and she's like, "Huh, this like feels different." And then he says, "Come on, let's go." He did not call her a piece of junk in that moment. And I said it in our last episode. If he continues to call her a piece of junk, I'll riot. Favorite
Well,
moment
by
right
the end,
there.
we didn't even mention that he calls her by her name,
Yeah. So
Mira.
favorite moment for me right there, because it's like she saved him, then he saves her, and
It just
yeah, head pat, and she's like,
yeah,
"Oh."
that was
Then she's
nice.
she's like, "Wait, come do that again." And he's like,
Yeah,
"No."
please.
That was really
Uh,
funny.
yeah, that's a really good one. I remember that for sure. I remember that moment. Let's rate this anime. Let's get out of here. Let's pick a new anime. Let's see what we're going to be watching all week and what our new personality is going
Personality,
to
yep.
be. Animation. So if you this is the first time finishing an anime with us, we rate it on three different things: animation, storytelling, and vibes, and then we give it a rank, and we put it up there on our rank tier list with all the other anime that we've already seen, and going forward, what it's going to be. So animation, 1 through 10, A to F. What do you think animation is?
Animation for me is gonna be an A. It was very solid, very consistent all the way throughout the series, but there were definitely like stills and frames and stuff of that sort where I was like, this probably could have had some more time in the boardroom, but or in the animation room. But I get that they only have so much time to work on every episode, every week, so
Sure.
much budget, etc. But an A for me.
Yeah, I would say 8 out of 10 for me. Oh, so much that I have my final will and testament ready if you don't pick any of my suggestions. We'll look at the suggestions. I forgot which ones yours were, but we'll look at the suggestions after this. But animation was an 8 out of 10 for me. It was good. Like you said, there was some points, especially towards the end, where I was like Mabuchi's face didn't look great all the
Yeah.
time. And I was just like, what's this about? But during the important bits, it was good. It was about average, so, 8, a little bit, it looks nice. I didn't have it didn't bring me out. If I
hmm
would rate it lower if it, like, took me out of the whole experience, but it was just good enough, and it was pretty decent, so, 8 on animation. Storytelling, what would you give it?
Storytelling, this is where I'm conflicted. But I'm gonna go ahead and say that I'm giving it a B on storytelling. It was very enjoyable. I liked it a lot. But again, if I wasn't in a at a point where I have reason to go back and rewatch and take notes and etc., there's a lot of stuff here that I probably would not have gotten because I did not get it on my initial viewing, and it was only after yeah, going back that I was able to like kind of understand what the show was getting at. So B for me on storytelling. Where would you put the storytelling?
Yeah, storytelling for me 7 out of 10 because same as you. I again, when I was trying to rank this and rate it, I was also thinking about the whole would I recommend this? How would I recommend this to somebody? Is this a good anime? Thinking all these big thoughts and I said, well, the storytelling is good, but there's a lot of stuff in the way and there's a
Hmm.
lot to what they're trying to tell and there's just a lot of it for 12 episodes and the way that it was paced. My
Hmm.
biggest problem was the pacing, not so much the storytelling, it was just the pacing because it
The
could
pace
have probably been
all over the
better.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, it probably could have been better if C. Meyer was in episode 4, if they did a short allusion to the horror bit and possibility and stuff. They did like a short little allusion to that instead of using 2 episodes on it
Hmm.
and maybe stretching out the ending. So it's my problem really isn't much with the storytelling, it was just the pacing. So
Sure.
and that it is big concepts and it needs that time. So I give it a 7 because I don't know if I would recommend this to everybody and I don't even know if I can elevator pitch this one to you to watch it. Um and it's good. I like the big concepts. I like the big swings. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I like this stuff. I like time. I love the thought of possibilities and them, not really giving us the full scope of everything, but sort of alluding to it and
Hmm.
having us make our own judgment. Love that stuff. It's just a lot for
Yeah.
12 episodes and the way they did it. So it was just about a 7 for me on storytelling. Vibes. What were the vibes
Yeah.
for you on this anime?
For this anime, the vibes were like 10 out of 10, S tier, as
Yeah.
good as they could be, because I loved every moment that I got to spend watching what was going on with these characters and the situations that they were in. Everybody had a personality, everybody had motives, and it was never 100% easy to see like what everybody's motives would translate into how that would play into the story. So loved every moment of it.
Yeah.
Where would you put the vibes?
10 out of 10 for me. Again, like you said, I love these characters. And I said this before, but I love the characters more than the story they told. And I just want to see the characters go on adventures. I would love to just see I heard there's a manga. It's not that there's a manga of this, so I might pick up the manga. But I just want to see these characters go on adventures. I would love to just see them collecting regular coils, just
Yeah.
doing some
Just
nonsense.
give me a DimensionW action RPG where I just have to go hunting after coils and give the
Yeah,
characters a million voice lines of
sure.
interaction, and I'll
Yeah,
play it.
totally
Take my
about
money.
that. The vibes are great. I mean, we knew the vibes were gonna be great when we saw the intro and they were dancing, Mabuchi was dancing and Mira was dancing and stuff. So vibes are 10 for me. Love these characters. I love, we didn't even get a whole lot of Albert and Mabuchi, but that was one connection I loved as well. We
The
saw
flashback that it cut when they were at the training yard, I was like,
yes, more of
give me a
that.
whole episode of that.
Yes, and him and Doug and all their crew over there, the demon, what are they called? Dogs of
Of Grendel.
yeah, the
Which I don't know,
Grendels,
I don't even know if we talked about it, but Grendel, that's, another, thing to,
literary thing.
literary thing to, why am I not forgetting now? Oh my god. The Vorpal blade and everything. Um, why am I forgetting the name of that story?
I don't know
We'll
what
have
you
to
mean.
come back to it, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. It's great. I loved all of the characters. I love their connections.
Beowulf.
So vibes are great. So drum roll, please. This is what we rank Dimension W. Uh, left is me, right is Matt. This is where we put it.
Hey, music, come on.
It's an A tier anime. We watched all 12 episodes. Both of us gave it an A.
Ye
It's good. It's good. I enjoyed my time there,
mhm,
in the world, and I really want more. It's just, some things were a little off, but that didn't really, do a whole lot for
mhm.
us here. So rank A, this is where it is on all of our anime tier list here. Matt is just stacking up the A's. Um so we have all the anime that we watched already: Future Diary at the bottom, Black Clover, Zombieland Saga, Dimension W Psychopaths, and what's the other one?
Future Diary?
No. The other one that we have at A. What is it called?
Oh, the Gotchaman
Gotchaman
crowds?
Crowds.
Yeah.
There it is. So those are our anime lists there. A's for Matt. Still looking for me personally, my personal goal again, looking for Matt's S tier.
Yeah, I
Waiting for Matt's
don't
S tier.
know. I don't know because, like you said, I'm stacking the A's right now, and it's really hard because as this tier list goes on, I may have to retroactively make adjustments because, like, it's one of those things where it's
Well,
like,
I'm
well,
gonna have
now
to make something.
if that's the standard, then like now it makes me think about like the other things in the same tier and like
Oh,
how you
okay.
know what I mean? Like retroactively,
Revision.
there might need to be some fine tuning in my tier list there. But I will say that like when I rate something, those are my true feelings at the time. But as we
Sure.
experience more animes that'll go on this list, you
Hmm.
know, the standard's gonna completely adjust as time goes on. Not
Sure.
completely, but it might.
So everyone's allowed 3 mulligans. So with the closing of Dimension
Mulligan County.
W, all possibilities are gone for Dimension W. We're
And
out.
only infinite possibilities for the chest of infinite anime
Anime.
recommendations.
So Matt has a chest of anime. Some of us have put some stuff in it. I still have two, I think, in there. Matt has a
Think so.
couple. But here are the anime that are in the chest right now. And these are some of them are user submitted. I heard Komi can't communicate. Kaguya-sama is pretty. Oh, those are your two, right? Honestly, Smudge, I am pushing for both of those. I want Matt to experience Kaguya-sama, and I want to watch more of it. So I really hope that's the one. But I have Odd Taxi in there. I heard it's really good. There's a lot of other ones that are user submitted, and some of us have submitted as well, and CZ submitted as well. But that's the chest. We have to pick a new
Okay,
anime
there.
for
All
next
over
week.
there. Mix them all
For
up.
next week and the next couple weeks, and we got to figure out what our personality is going to be. So right now we're gonna choose. I'm nervous for once.
I'm
I'm really
nervous.
nervous
All
because this
right.
is this is our thing.
I
So
got here it is.
here's the one.
I forgot. I acronymed this one PMMM.
Oh, Monica Magica. Oh boy, I get to rewatch it. Oh, Puella
Was that
Magica,
was
Monica
that
Magica.
Kaylee's submission?
Uh,
Who submitted this
it
one?
was me.
Oh, it was you?
I think. I think it was me.
Nice.
I am so excited to talk about this anime. I watched it a long time ago. Um, Big fan of it. It is one of my top anime, and I really hope it hasn't changed. And I really hope you enjoy it, man. No
Oh,
pressure.
it's your favorite?
But
D tier.
let me just F this. But it's another short anime. If I'm not mistaken, it's only 12 episodes as well. And it's another one where just shit gets real and shit happens and a lot happens. So
Oh, then I'm excited.
Madoka Magica is our next anime. I think you can watch it on Netflix as well, but it is on Crunchyroll. I've seen a few episodes of this. It's so good. I am such a big fan of this. I'm not going to say anything more. Um, that's cool. Okay, that's our uh, uh
Personality.
new personality for the next couple weeks. Watch episode 1 through 4 of Puella Magi Madoka Magica. Go check it out 1 through 4. But Dimension W was a fun ride. It was a lot of fun. Sad to see it go, but love to see it walk away. I
Jules
don't
the
know.
Puella Madi Magica Club.
I'll see you out there. Bye.
Okay.
Maybe
I'm excited
someday,
then.
maybe someday, Smudge, you'll get a pull. It's everybody but Smudge, I guess. Well, to be fair, I mean we haven't picked out Bubsy's or Kaylee's either. Kaylee has one, Bubsy has like two, I think.
And we
Um,
started with mine at Black Clover, but I
yeah.
haven't pulled one of my own out.
Oh yeah, Matt hasn't pulled one of his. So, um, yeah,
It's crazy that we
Infinite.
started with Black Clover. I'm so glad that we do this 3 episode per anime thing because I was thinking back to how we did 5 for Black Clover, and yeah, the last 2 were getting a little like I'm ready for something new. So I
Sure.
really do like the format that we do for watching
And
anime
this is
here.
episode 20 already of the podcast, and I'm like, okay,
That's
how
already one
that's
fifth of the way
forever.
to 100.
Where can I submit Insane Assassin? You could submit here
Hi,
live
assassin.
now. Hello, I love your little penguin. I never noticed that. But 500 bits during the show, and you can just submit an anime, and it'll be in the chest the next time. And what was I going to say? Oh, it goes to both me and Matt, so you'll be giving us money, both of us. Um, and we have a lot already. with our little enemy chest. But yeah, Puella. I don't even know how to say it right. Puella Magi. I just
Magi?
call it Madoka Magica. Magical girls. I love it. Okay, that's our. That's the show. Have you heard
Then
anything?
we'll.
I didn't even ask. Have you heard
I
anything about
have
this one?
zero idea about what this is going to be,
Oh boy.
and I'm ready.
Let's go. So next Thursday, watch episode 1 through 4 of Palamagi Madoka Magica. We'll be posting it in the Discord as well. But Matt, where can they find you when you're not in Dimension W?
When I'm not in Dimension W, I'm in the infinite possibilities of my Twitch at twitch.tv, Matt_Galley, and then on my socials at it's Matt_Galley. And then when you're not here, where can the people find you?
Well, I heard that you're gonna be going live later.
Yes, going live by 11. Play some Overwatch.
Wow, we're gonna play Overwatch. And Insane
Yee.
Assassin, thank you for the 500 bits.
Ooh, I've heard
Thank
of
you,
Tower
thank
of
you, thank
God.
you. Tower of God is a must. Thank you so much for the 500 bits. Have I watched it? I think I might have watched it. What is it? What's the Japanese name for it? I sound like a lame because I think I know it by that name, but I
I'm
think I've
forgetting.
seen some Tower. No, I think somebody else has been telling me to watch it. Tower of God now going to be added to the list. Thank you so much. It'll be here.
It'll take the Puella Magi Madoka Magica
Yeah,
spot.
it'll take their spot. So, whenever we finish an anime, we just pick one out of there, and that's our next anime to watch. So, Tower of God will be added. Thank you so much, Insane Assassin, for the 500 bits.
Thank you
It's
for the
Korean. Oh,
submission.
gotcha. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But you can find me here, twitch.tv/JulesTheHuman, or on YouTube, youtube.com/JulesTheHuman as well. Twitter, JULES, the human, all that stuff. You know where to find me. You're probably watching the anime there, but you can watch this show on Spotify. You can watch it on Spotify. You can listen on Apple Podcasts. It's over there. It's on the YouTube channel too. But yeah, I think it's Korean manga first. Gotcha. I'll look into it. But yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching anime with us. It was a lot of fun. And we're on to the next one. So
See you next
see
time.
ya
Music.